NYPA, it's time to start the show, so search for the squad and listen out for the promo with the West Wild Spitter, spin his web into a chokehold. Make it unfold, 5 o'clock. Who gives a damn of what your man to say? We spittin' live wireless, leave them shot with the gamma ray. Ain't no runner-up, cause it ain't the closest to candidate. I blocks it deep and you draw like Japanese anime. It's just us and the rest, news off the hottest press. Kyle Holt and Philly West, reppin' with the legends, classic interview session, politics, sports segment, live phone, call up a question, it's the NYPA, 95 connection, real people, ain't no scripted cue card for direction, just team on the grind, time till it's all perfection, throw it past the satellite so you can catch reception, so touch ground with us, we kill challenges, I murder it for every number on your calendars, from west to the boogie down the Greyhound in this, we Google Spot, Anchor Podcast, pocket this.
Well, Merry New Year, everyone. Welcome to the series finale of NYPA Entertainment Radio. It's January 1st. It's 2026. I hope everyone had a safe New Year's Eve coming into New Year's Day. And everyone's well rested and they're getting ready to have a great and successful and healthy 2026. Well, as I said before, this is the series finale of NYPA Entertainment Radio. Again, originally last week was going to be it, but I changed my mind and said, you know what? Let me push it to January 1st, kind of start the year off on the right foot. It's bittersweet. I'm not going to go into everything till the end of the show, do my shout outs and so forth. But, you know, although it's a bit of a sad occasion, stick around because, like I said, in spring, Who is Kyle Graham will be up and running here on Riverside.fm, on Spotify, on YouTube, and other platforms, so in video or in audio form. So as of right now, press the subscribe button on NYPA Team Radio, and also information on Who is Kyle Graham. Spread the word. Now, like I said, at the end of this episode, I'm going to details, give my little shout outs, and then go into details for the new show and what to look for and all that good stuff. So stick around for that. Now, without further ado, we got business to get into. You know how we do it here. You know what I like to talk about. There's a lot of things going on during this holiday season, a lot of follow-ups and things and so forth. So like I said, stay tuned. End of this episode, we'll go into what's coming next after NYP Entertainment Radio. Just give you a little peek behind the curtain what's happening. So, all right, so stay tuned. Let's get to business. Like I said, there's a lot to get into, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on this New Year's Day, 2026. Merry New Year, like I said. And someone who's having a great Merry New Year is none other than Beyonce Knowles Cartel. She's officially joined Celebrity Billionaires Club, which I thought she was a billionaire already, but, you know. Watch out, Elon and Larry. There's a new celebrity billionaire in town. Beyonce is now worth 10 figures, according to Forbes, which has long tracked the status of the ultra-high net worth. The business publication said last Monday that Beyonce now has 3 commas to her name thanks to the success of Cowboy Carter and the Renaissance World Tour. And while some celebrities have grown their net worth through savvy investments, consumer products, and startups, looking at you, Ryan Reynolds, Ashton Kutcher, and Kim Kardashian, Beyonce's value is tightly connected to her music, which she almost completely controls. In that regard, the musician joins an elite few musicians and entertainers to crack the billion-dollar club, including her husband Jay-Z, as well as Taylor Swift, who, like Beyonce, controls almost every aspect of her music. Bruce Springsteen's Rihanna, thanks to Fenty. The rest of the celebrity billionaire class is similarly small, with Forbes citing Jerry Seinfeld, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dick Wolf, Steven Spielberg, Tyler Perry, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Oprah Winfrey, Peter Jackson, Magic Johnson, George Lucas, among those who cracked the $10 digit club. But while the celebrity billionaire class is doing well, almost all of them have just barely cracked the $1 billion mark, with Spielberg leading the way at more than $5 billion. A contrast to tech titans like Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, Jensen Huang, and Jeff Bezos, and it seems like chump change. Musk network has grown to 333 billion this year alone, with Google co-founder Larry Page's net worth growing by 100 billion and Huang by 42 billion. Larry Ellison, who is helping his son David Ellison in pursuit of Warner Brothers Discovery, has seen his net worth rise by 40 billion this year. That is after Oracle stock took a dip earlier this month. In other words, there's still plenty of room for Beyonce to go from there. Now, the key thing that stood out to me was that she controls majority of her music, which is always key. And a lot of stuff that Beyonce have done is all through her music and performing and so forth. And I think the smart thing is owning her catalog, owning her music. She's always been smart. Her parents are smart. And teaching her the ways of the music business. Of course, her husband is smart in terms of owning things, and then of course her husband Jay-Z has different streams of revenue and so forth. Hers, and like similar to Taylor Swift, is based off of her music and owning it, not just making it, but owning it. That's always key. Owning your masters, owning what you have created, is always key, because this is why I always question those who sell it off. And then sometimes, like I said, people have like cash flow issues that they may have to sell or whatever. Because while you may get 350 million, the company gets it is going to make 350 billion. Trust me when I tell you that. So kudos to her, man. I tip my cowboy hat to her. I don't have one on, but you know what I'm saying. And she's doing her thing, and it's good to see a woman, especially a woman of color, get into the billionaire mark. We need more of that. And knowing her, she's going to maybe get as high as Bezos or Elon Musk and so forth. She's doing her thing. This really ties into what I'm going to say at the end of this episode. I'm not going further because I was going to say something about what she's doing, which is a good thing. But it all ties into what I'm going to bring it up at the end of the show, at least try to remember to. But it's all going to tie into what I want to say at the end of this episode. But she busting her ass, man, and she's doing it. She's smart, and she got the talent. And like I said, the key thing is music. So I wouldn't be surprised if she do eventually do different. And she might have different streams of revenue coming in on a low we just don't know about. But as far as the rankings go, it seems like it's based off her music and tours alone. And that says a lot right there. But I'm not surprised. She's a very smart woman. I thought she was already a billionaire minus Jay-Z. So I always thought she was already there. She was close to it at the time, and now she's really there. So I'm not mad at that. Moving on. ASAP Rocky to help pay rent for all tenants in his childhood New York City building. ASAP Rocky won't end 2025 without paying it forward. To celebrate the release of his long-awaited fourth studio album, Don't Be Dumb, arriving Friday, January 16th, the rapper 37 teamed up with Bill Built for a special collaboration. It's confirmed that Built, B-I-L-T, is making a donation to a Harlem building where Rocky spent his teen years living. The donation will cover January 2026 rent for all tenants in the building in an effort to support the community that shaped the artist. Quote, "For me, it's always been about your community and neighborhood," Rocky said in a statement. "Harlem made me who I am, from uptown to downtown, and the connections to place is everything." When Built said they want to cover rent for everyone in the same building where I grew up, that hit different. That's not just business. That's understanding what community really means. According to Rocky, his new vinyl is, quote, "my love letter to New York and being able to give back to the exact place that raised me while helping people across the country with their rent is a kind of the partnership that actually matters. Don't Be Dumb is Rocky's first studio album in nearly 8 years. The built exclusive limited edition vinyl design by Rocky himself can be purchased via Built BILT app and website. While details surrounding the project remain limited, the performer previously explained why he rarely drops new music. Well, he's married to Rihanna. Anyway, and she's a billionaire. I digress. It's about who did it and who did it the best. He previously said in October in an interview. Everything I do is based off building legacy. That's why I'm not so eager to drop. I don't do things to just try and stay relevant or keep my name in the conversation. I try to do natural things, creative, ambitious things that really satisfy me. Since the release of his last album, Testing, Rocky has been raising 3 children with Rihanna. The couple are parents to RZA, Riot, and Rocky. So RZA is 3, Riot is 2, Rocky's 3 months. Quote, being a father and a partner and a loving husband in my family is what makes me really, really happy, he shared with it in the interview. That's what honestly does get me going, being able to express myself creatively, being able to be a family man and being able to be an artisan. Round 37 has also complimented her partner's paternal instincts as they raise their children outside of the spotlight. The Umbrella singer revealed in Harper's Bazaar in February of 25 that the greatest thing about her partner is seeing him be a dad. Quote, I'm annoyed because my son sometimes just live for him more than they live for me, she joked to the publication. And I'm like, did you know who cooked you? Do you know who pushed you out? And they love him, but when I see it, oh, it's the best. That's, you know what, that is really dope what he's doing. Helping the families out in the building in Harlem, because rent is expensive in general, and I lived in New York and I know how the rent is. I know how the rent is in New York, whether it's in Harlem. I know how the rent is in the Bronx. I just know how the rent is in New York, period. And I like to hear things like that when you have people giving back, and that's not no easy traits. Adjusting the camera, y'all. That's no easy thing to do, and I'm sure the shit is expensive, and that's a good way to start the year off. There's one thing you got to worry about after the holidays. You know, you're like, man, I got to make January rent. You spend money on whether it's traveling, on gifts, or bills alone, credit card bills, or whatever. At least you can go into a new year in a new month with one less thing to worry about. And that's dope. You know, like, I ain't gonna worry about January rent. You can save up for February and keep it moving. So while the heaviness money wise of the holidays, that the bills and stuff you pay for your kids and family and traveling, weighs on some people because you got to worry about today, January 1st, and paying your rent. It's good to know for those families in that building, they ain't got to worry about for 1 month, and that's dope, man. And kudos to him for doing that. I think that's a great idea to help those out and give back and paying it forward. So that's dope. I can, that really makes me feel good to hear that. Just to give back, because again, I pay rent. I gotta pay. Like, difference. I gotta pay mortgage. Like, we got bills to pay. So if someone wants to, take a heavy load off your plate for 1 month, shit, let them do it. Let them do it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's dope. Speaking of shit that I did, sad news. One of a great actor who I'm a fan of, Isaiah Whitlock Jr. passed away. He was 71 years old, which I still think is young. Isaiah Whitlock, who's main known as Clayton Clay Davis on The Wire. He's been in Spike Lee movies, The 25th Hour, The Five Bloods, Your Honor with Bryan Cranston. He first appeared in Goodfellas. He played the doctor. Yeah. And, of course, the signature, she. Great actor, man. His work will always be out there. And not a day goes by or I do something what I say shit. Something happens, just it comes to mind. You're just like shit. So the next time something happens, or you gotta go to the bathroom, someone asks what you're doing, like I'm taking a shit, or someone gets on your nerves, or you don't want to tolerate that, like shit. And I don't know if Isaiah Whitlock Jr., great actor, again, gone too soon, 71 years old. To me, is still young. A great talent. And like I said, his work is still out there, man. You got to go check that joint out. He's everything, especially I say if you're a fan of The Wire. But definitely a huge loss. And his work lives on. His work lives on. Great legend Isaiah Whitlock Jr. passed away at the age of 71. All right, let's continue. I got a lot of things here, folks. A lot of things. I got this here. Diddy's son Justin and Christian announced docu-series slated for this year, 2026. Sean Diddy Combs' sons Justin and Christian are planning to share their side of the story and the fallout from their father's federal trial with the announcement of a new docu-series slated to debut on Zeus in 2026. The two revealed the untitled documentary series with a trailer posted to social media on Sunday night, last Sunday. In the this past Sunday, to say, in the clip, they watch footage taken outside the courthouse where Combs' trial took place, as headlines about their father flash across the screen. The trailer ends with Justin receiving a prepaid call from the New Jersey's FCI Fort Dix, where Combs is currently serving out his 50-month sentence. Combs' sons were on hand to support him through his criminal trial earlier in the year of 2025, and Justin spent Christmas Day visiting his father in prison. Combs himself hasn't given up on overturning his convictions following the appear 2 days before Christmas. In the filing, Combs' lawyer Alexandra A.E. Shapiro argued that his sentence was greater than it should have been, and that the ruling judge Aran, I'm gonna mess up the name, Subramanian, defied the jury's verdict by acting as the 13th juror. No, it's still the same thing, right? I am. Combs was a recent subject of the Netflix popular Sean Combs' Reckoning docuseries, a four-episode chronicle of the mogul's life as told through the perspective of close associates. The Reckoning, directed by Alexandra Stapleton, executive produced by Combs' longtime foe 50 Cent, featured footage commissioned to be shot in the week leading up to the September 2024 arrest on federal sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution and racketeering charges. Well, look, they got the right to pretty much give their side of the story, give their point of view. Not everything in the documentary is accurate or true, as has been kind of proven within the past month, I should say. So they have that right. And I understand why they want to defend. They want to defend their father in this situation, and it's understandable. So I don't have Zeus. So I don't know what network that is. Whatever. And I probably wouldn't watch it anyway. I didn't even finish The Reckoning. It was just whatever. But they got that right. I'm not surprised. You want to put a defense for your father, and like I said, there's his side, their side. So in the middle, for the final time, well, I'm saying a few times before the show's over. So in the middle is the truth. So with that being said, I'm not surprised they're doing it. And I guess when it comes out sometime this year, we'll probably hear more about it. They're probably doing their rounds on the interview circuit and social media and so forth, and see, what they feel as though is the truth. Who knows? So we'll find out. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. So we shall see as time goes on. And if anything comes up, by the time it comes out, who is Kyle Graham will be airing, and I can give you my point of view, what they're saying. And, if I happen to come across a clip or find out what the hell the Zeus channel is, I might take a sneak peek. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I doubt I will, but who knows. Any updates about it will be on Who is Kyle Graham, coming to you soon, spring of 2026. Okay, moving on. Here's an interesting one. Stefon Diggs, who is the wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Stefon Diggs' chef claims NFL star slapped, choked her over salary dispute. Stefon Diggs' former personal chef claims the Patriots star slapped her and tried to choke her out over a salary dispute, with the bombshell allegations being laid out in a newly released incident report. According to the narrative, the female employee first went to police on December 16th and stated she was working as a private chef on December 2nd when Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom to discuss an ongoing text exchange between the two over money she believed she was owed. The woman claims during the conversation, Diggs became angry and smacked her across the face. She said she attempted to push him away, but he then, quote, tried to choke her using the crook of his elbow around her neck. She claims Diggs was behind her with his arm wrapped around her, and she felt like she had trouble breathing and could have blacked out. When she tried to pry herself away, she claims Diggs tightened his grip. The woman claims Diggs then threw her onto the bed and said something along the lines of "thought so." The woman told cops she continued to explain to Diggs she still hasn't been paid, but Diggs said lies and walked out of the room. When asked about documented injuries she may have sustained, the woman claimed she had redness on her upper chest area, but did not take pictures. The woman told cops she started working for Diggs in July and she was supposed to work for him through 2025 season. She claimed she was supposed to be paid weekly, but it also switched to monthly instead, and she had not received a month's pay at the time of the incident. According to the report, the woman stated Diggs did not want to pay her for a week of work in November because her services were not needed. She said she disputed that, stated she did not request the break and therefore she should still receive her salary. After the alleged incident on December 2nd, the woman said she no longer worked for Diggs, and when she returned to his home to collect her belongings days later, he texted her to handle the dispute with his assistant. The woman claims the assistant then agreed to pay her as long as she signed a non-disclosure agreement, which she did not. The woman provided police with a series of text messages that document the exchange. On December 20th, cops spoke with the woman again, who stated she received a voicemail and text from a woman that believed to be Diggs' girlfriend, telling her not to make a big deal out of the situation, leading her to believe the receiver was aware. She contacted police. The report does not state whether the woman was Cardi B. The report states cops tried to contact Diggs directly on the matter, but was unsuccessful. On December 23rd, cops say they received the email from the woman expressing interest in moving forward with the charges. On Tuesday, it was announced Diggs was charged with felony strangulation or suffocation, and misdemeanor assault and battery. Attorney Dave Mayer released a statement on the Diggs allegations, saying they are unsubstantiated, uncooperated, and were never investigated. Woo, he's rhyming like Johnny Cochran because they did not occur. The timing and motivation for making the allegation is crystal clear. They are the direct result of employee-employer financial dispute that was not resolved to the employee's satisfaction. Stefon looks forward to establishing the truth in the court of law. Well, like I said before, there's his side, her side, somewhere in the middle is the truth. Very interesting what's going to transpire, especially if she got the text messages and so forth and so on. Here's another key thing. When you're making a deal, in my opinion, I would think in terms of payment, shouldn't you have it written down like in a contract saying, all right, you pay me weekly, and then and then when you switch up, say we'll pay monthly, have that in writing, because it's like, well, he said he'll pay me monthly, he never paid me. That it's just to have that, you know what I mean? Hopefully it's not true. Hopefully he didn't lay hands on her, because that's not necessary. It's not really that serious to put your hands on someone. Hopefully she's not lying because it didn't go her way. We won't know. As time goes on, we'll find out. Now, this may draw attention, negative attention, to New England Patriots, who are who are about to start the playoffs in another week or so, and is considered one of the teams come out the AFC to be possibly playing the Super Bowl. If this makes it to the Super Bowl, if they make it to the Super Bowl, then the spotlight will be on his charges and not the fact that he's a talented receiver who helped that team make it there. So we'll find out, because the press loves negativity. You know what I mean? So we'll find out. Otherwise than that, I think, as time goes on, especially now since, again, the playoff starts in another week or so, and New England's in it, it's definitely going to gain a lot of steam. Now, the crazy thing is, it'll gain less steam when if and when the team gets eliminated out of the playoffs, because they're not in the playoffs. This is not whatever. But as long as they're in, the media is going to press the issue more and more, because he'll be the flavor of the month, so to speak. That's just going to happen. That's how the media works. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. And like I said, it won't be on this show, but it will be on Who is Kyle Graham in the spring of 2026 with any updates of the allegations on Stefon Diggs' claim that he choked his chef over a salary dispute. And if Carly B was the one that called the chef and said, let's not make a big deal out of it. The plot may thicken. Don't. Okay, let's move on. Well, here we go. Nicki Minaj deportation petition goes viral with nearly 70,000 signatures. Among the reasons listed on the petition as to why she should be deported are her allegedly harassing the Carters and being married to Kenneth Petty. Nicki Minaj has rubbed a few people up the wrong way in recent months, so much so that a petition has been started to deport her to Trinidad. The Change.org petition has gone viral in days since it was created, and with more and more people calling for the rapper to be sent to Trinidad since she isn't a United States citizen, per her claim on social media in 2024. As of press time, the petition is almost 70,000 signatures. In the description of the petition, its creator, Peronika Minaj, writes that the rapper is currently spiraling out of control and seems to be experiencing psychosis. Additionally, the description lists its reasons Minaj should be deported as being that she has allegedly harassed the Carters, Beyonce and Jay-Z, and is married to a registered sex offender, Kenneth Petty. Despite the gravity of his past actions, Minaj continues to fiercely defend Petty, reportedly going as far as intimidating and threatening his victims, wrote the petition founder. Quote, such actions demonstrate a blatant disregard for the law and for the safety of others. Minaj's petition comes days after she made a surprise appearance at Turning Point USA, where she made clear how much she supports President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. The administration, quote, the administration is full of people with heart and soul, and they make me proud of them. Our president, he makes me, well, I love both of them, Minaj says. Both of them have a very uncanny ability to be someone that you relate to. Minaj's Turning Point USA appearance has led to an intense backlash in the days since, with celebrities like Joe Budden's distancing themselves from her afterward. The petition claims that Minaj harassed the Carters, which stems from her calling out Jay-Z for allegedly blackballing attempts and owing her $20 million in her title equity stake. As for the marriage to Kenneth Petty, the two have been married for 6 years. In 2024, when they celebrated 5 years of marriage, the rapper commemorated, I got it right, y'all, the relationship with an Instagram post 24 years after we first met. Love at first sight. I'm proud of you. Thank you for catching me every single time. Thank you for our little BFF, referring to their son. Well, we all know there's going to be backlash, like I said, about that in what she was saying and in the side she jumped to. A lot of people really take to heart um, politics. I'm not a political person. It's not a political show, and the new show's not going to be political either. So I'm not going to get into all that. And like I said before, it's she's going to learn. And if you haven't looked into it yet, like I said, it's the Toad and the Scorpion. And even though she put the black face on and she's like, hi, and she, just, cooning it up for everybody, like, hi, massa, and all that stuff, she gonna learn. She gonna learn. And let her learn. And just separate, let her do it. Because she'll come back with her tail between her legs. When she wants to do business again with certain people, especially people of color and women of color, she's gonna find out. She fucking around, she's gonna find out. Because people take this serious. People take religion and they take politics seriously. They start wars and break up families and shit like that. So she's definitely gonna fuck around and find out. I had to straighten the camera out. Sorry. She's definitely gonna fuck around and find out. So let her put the black face on with the white gloves. You know what I mean? And I sashay across the stage, like and do all that stuff. That's it. But like I said, it is the Toad and the Scorpion. That's it. Toad and Scorpion. So like I said, although she's smiling like it don't affect her, it will in the long run. It will, because her bread and butter is entertainment. Her bread and butter is music. So when she get that itch to get back in the studio, perform or whatever, it's not going to be there. Like 70,000 at the time of the publication, people want her gone. It could be much higher now. So she can play it cool as she wants, like it don't affect her. It will. And it might not. It might not affect her. But in some cases it will. Down the line, it will. So, I mean, and she'll learn. Scorpion and Toad. Scorpion and Toad. Or Toad and Scorpion, however you want to put, whoever you want to put first. But she'll definitely want to learn. She will. So, hard head makes a soft ass. All right, moving on. Let's see. Now, come to find out, actually, I did have a follow-up with that. As of today, or as of yesterday, the petition has 100,000 signatures. That's as of yesterday. 100,000 signatures. Want her gone. 100,000 signatures. That's the update. That's just yesterday. 100,000 signatures. That's crazy. You pissed that many people off. And then some. 100,000 signatures is like, get your ass out of here. Go to Trinidad. I don't know, Trinidad might not even want you. Like, 100,000 signatures. Like, they want her deported. That's fucked up. That's some fucked up shit. You gotta feel some type of way about that. You act all hard if you want, be all queens in the building and nothing will affect me type shit. But nah, you gotta feel some type of way. I'm sorry, you have to. Like 100,000 people and then some, and that's just yesterday, and it's still counting. Want to deport you? You know what I mean? That's crazy. That is crazy. 100,000 now. It's crazy. Moving on. Let's see. This one is cray all the way. Ex-Jay-Z partner Dame Dash Film Biz sells for a measly $100 at auctions as creditors swarm. Former hip-hop mogul Damon Dash filmmaker company filmmaking company was sold for measly. So I had to pop up. Sold for a measly $100 at a Tuesday auction that aimed to offset $1 million he owes from defamation lawsuits. Despite the desperate attempt to cover his debt through the auction, only one bidder showed up and bought the Rockefeller Records co-founder film company for a mere $100.50. I think he's a fool, man," said Michael Mustaser, CEO of Muddy Waters Motion Pictures, who submitted the winning bid and who has claimed to the 973,000 stemming from Dash losing a trio of civil lawsuits. Dash declared bankruptcy in September, claiming to have only a few $1,000s to his name, despite owing $25 million in federal and state taxes, child support, and other debts. Um, at least $5 million of that is owed to civil lawsuits with Brown's clients. Let's see. I think I skipped something. Let me scroll up real quick. I want to see if I missed something. Okay. All right. So Dash has faced the threat of jail time for previously refusing to pay his civil debts, and Brown said the bankruptcy claim is just another effort to avoiding paying. The production company for sale, Poppyton LLC, included rights to Dash's best-known film, Honor Up, with included acting by Dash, Cameron, Dash's cousin Stacey Dash, known for her hit role in '90s classic Clueless. Other films owned by Dash include sequel to Honorable, a documentary called um, Welcome to Black Rock, and a personal film titled We Went to China: Our Search for Like-Minded Individuals. Attorney Chris Brown hoped the outside bidders would offer at least a few $100,000 for the collection, but none showed up. Quote, "It's more of an undertaking of what they view Dash's work to be as opposed to anything else," he said, noting that Cameron recently referred to Honor Up as whack in an Instagram post. Quote, "Like no one cares that you went to China, Mr. Dash," Brown said of one of the films. "I guess I really don't know what to make of that." Um, the auction, it was said the auction uh, at, it was said to the Post that at the auction, the purchase was a jab at Dash, whom he blames for struggling. So the guy Montaser told the Post at the auction that the purchase of the company for $150, I should say, was a jab at Dash, whom he blames for dragging him through years of litigation instead of sitting down like grown men and resolving their differences. He's just a problem, Montaser said. He has an ego. I think he's just bitter coming from where he was to where he is, and just blames everybody else and doesn't look at himself in the mirror. Uh, Montaser, I think that's how you say his name, Montaser and filmmaker Josh Weber has successfully sued Dash twice for defamation. And just last week, the pair filed a third defamation suit against Dash for comments he made after appearing on the popular Breakfast Club show earlier in the fall, back in September. It's just silly, said Brown, who will also get his share, was Chris Brown, the lawyer, of $33.50. Wait a minute. It's just silly, said Chris Brown, the lawyer, who will also get his share of $33.50 from the auction after winning his own civil lawsuit against Dash for $150,000. It's $33.50. God damn. $33.50. What the hell? Dash's latest allegation, slanderous statement, Brown said, is similar to claims he testified to at an earlier defamation trial. Listen, You know what's interesting and ends there. You know what's interesting about this. And if you go back and you watch the interview that he did on the Breakfast Club, and how he's braggadocious and he's not broke and and all this stuff, and the stuff you read is not true, and he has the money and all that. It makes him really look stupid now. It makes him look really, 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 really stupid. It makes him look stupid. It does. Because now it's like, how you gonna bounce back from this? Everyone's laughing and pointing at you now. It's sold for $100.50. People are like coming at you, and even though you are sitting back and stating like you did in the interview in the Breakfast Club, like you playing Godfather mind tricks and illusions and thinking, telling people like they think I'm broke, but I'm not broke, and I really own this and all that. It's no one's going to believe a word you say going forward. They're just not, unless you have legit paperwork or whatever. They might even believe the paperwork. They might think the paperwork is false. But the fact that you sat there and you pounding your fist like I own this, this is done, this is all coming back on you, and you look foolish now. So I'm curious to see somewhere down the line where he's going to pop up and try to defend the whole situation and it being sold for $100 and $100.50 and things of that nature. But you go back and you watch recent interviews, not just Breakfast Club, also recent interviews about him paying this off, paying that off, being broke and being in debt and things like that, and being and contradicting statements about whatever. I'm curious to see what he says now going forward. Is he going to cop to it? Is he going to continue to bullshit? Is he, continue to make excuses and so forth? I'm very interested to find out, because now it's just like everything he has said, it's laughable. Because how are you going to believe this cat going forward about anything? He's been contradicted. People have been like, no, that's not true. I mean, showing receipts, so to speak, that what he's saying is not true. It's just all falsified or he made up or whatever the case may be. He's a poison in the business right now. He's a cancer. Nobody wants to touch him. Nobody want to go near him. You can tell. They don't want to do business with him. And then when you see his counterparts as Jay-Z or Kareem Biggs being successful, Jay-Z more in the public eye than Kareem Biggs, you know, that's like low hanging fruit. And of course they're like, look what your partners are doing. You're the one struggling. You're the one that was sitting so high, and now you're sitting low. And some people say it's karma on how he treated people while he was quote unquote on top. But it's interesting now, like I say, looking back at these interviews. Recently, I've seen one recently online around during the holiday season. And of course, everybody goes back to the more infamous Breakfast Club joint. And it's just like, wow, dude, like, are you in denial? Is it true that things just fell apart? Did you pull the cart before the horse? What is it? You know, people, in my opinion, will respect the truth up front than you trying to, well, lie. Now, I'm not calling a liar. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just saying what appears, it presumes or assumes to be lies. It just makes them look bad overall, and it makes them like a target. For people like 50 Cent and so forth, and in Breakfast Club and everything. It's crazy. Because now, even if you go try to defend yourself, whether it's a Breakfast Club or another show, people are not going to believe you. They just not. And you could be telling the truth, and you could have been telling the truth. It's not looking good. So it's like $100.50. And I thought I read that wrong, and I was like, no, decimal's in the right place. $100.50. My man in the Lord Chris Brown gets $33.50. You better watch what the decimal is. That's crazy. That's crazy. You just say how the mighty have fallen. And I'm just curious to see what he says about all this. So I'm looking forward to see whatever interview pops up, who he decides to sit down with and explain everything. It should be entertaining. It should be very entertaining and very interesting. All right, what else? Two more before I close the door on NYP Entertainment Radio. Here's a good one here. Macaulay Culkin has to, it says GIRD himself for public outings and has three rules for fans. As a child star of a timeless holiday classic, Macaulay Culkin is no stranger to being approached in public. But after a few decades of mega fame, the Home Alone alum, who's 45, has found a way to make fan interactions a lot less scary, and it all requires a very few reasonable ground rules. Cool. I definitely have to. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Gird myself, maybe guard, but it's a GIRD. Gird myself for outings and so forth. Culkin admitted during a recent interview. Just set certain ground rules for myself. So what exactly is Culkin asking for fans? It was pretty simple. Quote: Don't approach me when I'm at the dinner table. I don't like that, he began before naming rule number two. Don't approach me when I'm with my kids. The actor who shares two children with finances, former Disney star Brenda Song, then emphasized that the final faux pas. Definitely don't follow me to the bathroom. Culkin went on to say that setting such boundaries was a big step after years of being approached in public. I just realized that I'm in charge of the social contract he shared. I'm in charge of the interaction. Elsewhere, Culkin opened up about the tricky nature of becoming famous at such a young age. After beginning his career at just 4 years old, Culkin became a household name thanks to his role as Kevin McAllister in the Home Alone franchise. It was difficult, tricky waters to maneuver through. Let me do that again, y'all. It was a difficult, tricky waters to maneuver through and stuff like that because you don't necessarily have the actual or emotional vocabulary to really kind of, maneuver through those waters. He told the host, he told the interviewer um, this past month. Culkin added that fame was also quite isolating for him, admitting, "I always kind of thought of myself as a peerless person. Like I couldn't turn left or right, like and go, oh, you're like me." Overall, it's presented a unique experience that ultimately opted to walk away in his early teen years, retiring for nearly a decade after 1994's Richie Rich. Recent years have seen Culkin step comfortably back into the spotlight, touring the country with his Nostalgia Night with Macaulay Culkin events and taking a role in Zootopia 2 and Fallout. Still, there are at least two people in the actor's life who don't get starstruck by his childhood stardom. Um, Culkin has previously revealed that despite his kids, Dakota 4 and Carson 3, being obsessed with Home Alone, they have no idea that their own father is in the movie's scheming protagonist. Is the movie's scheming protagonist. Quote, I try to keep the magic alive, he recently said in the interview. I showed my oldest he wanted to see a picture of me and my siblings, so I pulled up an old photo. It's all my siblings, and he looks right at me, and he says, and he goes, "Who's that? That looks like Kevin." I go, "Oh, nobody. Oh, nobody here." He said, "Oh, nobody here." He said, "Oh no, nobody here. Here's your aunt." Whatever. Um, I read that before, and his kids don't put two and two together, and he's kind of like, all right, that's cool. They'll figure it out. They just have, young. They're 3 and 4 years old. And I think that's kind of cute. But the main thing is the rules he set up, which I think it should be for a lot of celebrities. You out and about, you see a celebrity having dinner, keep it moving. You nod or don't say nothing at all. Walk past them, whatever. They're out. They're a human being. They're allowed to have meals, especially if they're with their kids. Let them be parents. Leave them alone. They have that right to be in the world and be a parent with their kids and enjoy themselves. And definitely, I don't blame them. People gotta go to the bathroom. What the hell you follow them in the bathroom for? That's a very sacred area and space where you gotta take care of business. You know what I mean? So I think there's great rules, and I've heard stories of where a lot of fans were approached celebrities at the table enjoying their meal, and they get mad because they don't want to talk because they're with company and enjoying their meal. Or they get even more mad if they're with their kids and they're trying to feed their kids or hang out with their kids or whatever, and they're like, I'm just want to spend time, I don't have time to take pictures and autographs. You're going to draw attention and draw more people. It's going to frighten my kids or take attention away from my kid or child or whatever. So I think that's a pretty good rule. Listen, I like celebrities. I get it. You see them all the time. You get a little starstruck, like, oh wow, you see them in person. But male or female, black or white, him or her, they're human beings. Also, they're not gods. The different. I always say the difference between them and us, who are just civilians, is status. That's it. That status can go like that. You know what I mean? They can be as easily be blue collar workers like we do, like what we do. You know what I mean? And I think we should respect their privacy. They have that right to go have a meal, have that right to be out with their kids, and have the right to piss and shit in private when they get up and go somewhere to go to the bathroom. If they don't want to give you an autograph or take a picture, they got that right to say no. You don't have the right to get an attitude, and you don't have the right to get mad at them. You don't. Now they come at you nasty. I get it. But if they play like, I'm sorry, I'm having a meal with my family or whatever, then you gotta honor that. Okay, I'm sorry, whatever. Or read the fucking room. You see it, you don't go there. You see him with their kids, whether it's him or somebody else, leave him alone. You see him having a nice meal, leave him alone. Or you see them heading towards a stall in the bathroom, you might not want to bother someone when they got their thing out or their pants down. You know what I'm saying? It can wait, or it just don't happen. Just say, hey, I seen so-and-so, and just keep it moving. It's really that simple. A lot of this shit can be avoided. It really can. A lot of it can be avoided. And it's those are real simple and easy rules I think a lot of fans should follow for a lot of celebrities, period. Just, let them be them. They have that right. They have that right to try to live a normal life, especially when you got babies involved. You know what I mean? So, all right, moving on for the last one. The last one here on the series finale of NYPA Entertainment Radio. This is Chevy Chase had meltdown after N-word community incident was leaked. Chevy Chase had a full meltdown on the community set after N-word incident leak. Said, quote, said my career is ruined, witness recalled. And I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not, a new authorized documentary about the 82-year-old actor and comedian, director I'm going to mess up this last name, it's a long name. I'm going to try to get it right. Chan Reskar recalled witnessing the 2012 incident in which Chevy used the N-word and what went down in detail, including the on-set meltdown that it inspired. Man, this guy's last name, Chandeskar, 57, who directed several episodes of the comedy series, said in the CNN documentary today, January 1st, it airs January 1st on CNN, that he, quote, was there directing the night that Chevy Chase got fired from Community. The events can be traced back to a blackface hand puppet bit written for Chevy's character, Pierce Hawthorne, the director said. While working, Chevy said something to co-star Yvette Nicole Brown, the director recalled, though the director claimed he did not hear what exactly was uttered. At the time, the Hollywood Reporter reported that Chevy was, quote, frustrated with the direction Pierce was going as a character and used the N-word when questioning the dialogue. The Hollywood Reporter also clarified that while stars Donald Glover and Brown, 54, who are both black, were present for the scene incident, the slur was not directed at them. Recalling his side of what happened in I Am Chevy Chase, the director said, I know that there was a history between Chevy and Yvette around race. She got up and stormed out of there. Chevy stormed off. So the producer is like, quote, we need Yvette in the scene, right? I'm like, yeah, she's in the next scene. And he goes, well, she won't come out unless Chevy apologizes to her. The director said Chevy then returned to the set, but claimed he didn't say anything. He goes, me and Richard Pryor, I used to call Richard the N-word, and he used to call me the honky, and we loved each other. And I'm like, I know, man, I love the bit. I said, you know, can we just have a little apology? He goes, for what? The director recounted of Chevy's words in reference to the late stand-up comedian and actor who died in '05. After filming that day, I'm saying the director because I can't pronounce Jay's last name. Recalls someone leaking that there was a racial incident on the set. The Hollywood Report set to the Hollywood Reporter, and then the cast returned to the set after the leak. The director said Chevy had a full meltdown. The director said Chevy came storming into the set, and he goes, "Who fucked me over? My career is ruined. I'm ruined. Like it's a full meltdown. Fuck all of you." And I'm like, all right, let's shoot the scene. He never ended up coming back after that day, added the director. Following 2012's incident, production was consequently halted, and Chevy was later reported forcing to issue an apology. The actor left Community after season 4, which aired in 2013, though he returned briefly for one episode in 2014. Chevy exit came after the headline making incident, as well as a very public feud with creator Dan Harmon over creative and on-set disagreements, which are discussed in I Am Chevy Chase. Quote, it was out in the opening that Chevy was a little difficult on Community, and I'm being nice. People were talking about it enough that Dan did that thing at the rap party. The director of the episode that Chevy said the N-word said in the documentary, referring to when Harmon, who's 52, got party guests to say, fuck you, Chevy, which led to the infamous and profanity laden leaked voicemail the comedian left for the show's creator. One of Chevy's daughters, Kaylee Chase, recalled the contentious moment for which she and her mom, Janie Chase, were both present in the forthcoming documentary. Quote, my dad was super excited to bring me and my mom to the rap party, Kaylee 40 said. We walked in, Dan, he had some drinks. He had gotten the whole cast and crew to yell, fuck you, Chevy, fuck you, Chevy. I'm there. He's showing his daughter like this is the show I did, and we walked in a fuck you, Chevy. That's rough, she asked, and mean. So check out if you're watching this January 1st, or go back on streaming on CNN. I'm Chevy Chase, and You're Not appears 8 p.m. Tonight, January 1st. I've for a lot of years I've heard about how difficult Chevy Chase was in general on movie set and definitely on Community, and I heard about the incident years ago when he used the N word and so forth. And I didn't know about the rap party situation when the creator, chanted "F you, Chevy," "Fuck you, Chevy," when he walked in front of his family and the whole nine. That says a lot about your character. If if you have a room full of people saying "fuck you" and all that stuff, you must have been a total douchebag on the set. And a lot of people I heard with the documentary, the cast, with the exception of the guy Jay, the director, who can't say I can't pronounce his last name, was the only one I think willing to participate in the documentary. The whole cast, including Dan Harmon, did not participate in the documentary. Didn't want to bring up the situation that happened or to kind of relive it, so to speak. And I get that people sometimes leave things in the past, but I always wonder because I always wonder part, but I always heard that he's such an asshole. And I always wonder what makes celebrities act this way. They're just total douchebags. They're assholes. Like, why are you this way? What made you this way? Why are you wired this way? Why are you thinking this? Why are you treating people this way? You know what I mean? Like, why are you shitting on them? Why are you saying derogatory things? Why are you mean? Like, why are you this way? And what made you this way, and you have all this talent, all this opportunity, and you more or less just mean spirited to people, and you just treat them like shit. And you're cursing at them, and you saying derogatory things, and you're difficult to work with, and then you want to know why people are chanting "fuck you" when you walk into the room. Yeah, look in the mirror, my man. Whether it's you or anyone else, that's crazy. But I always wonder why celebrities do that. Why musicians, sports athletes, why they act the way they act. Why they like the egos are so big, and why they just constantly crap on people. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand that. I like, man, like you're in a position a lot of people would love to be in, and you are just ruining it by being such a douchebag, like an asshole. That's just crazy. That's crazy. I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't get it. You think you'd be look, we all have bad days and so forth and things of that nature, but you would think you'd be at least at your profession. Not saying you gotta be the best of friends, but at least be professional. At least be, kind to people and whatever. But when you have people don't want to be around you, they say fuck you, don't want to be and don't have really any nice things to say about you, even though you might not admit it out loud, that's crazy, man. It has to affect you in some type of way. It has to. And it would affect me. You may not say it out loud, but deep down, you gotta look in the mirror and be like, damn, was I that much of an asshole that you got a whole room chanting "fuck you" to me? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is it. It's the end of the series. Like I said, top of the show. When I started this show back in 2010, I co-created it. I didn't think NYP Entertainment Radio was going to last a year. Didn't think it was going to go past 2 years when I moved it down to Philly in 2013. We wrapped it up in the Bronx in 2012. See, the co-creator and former co-host, he let it drop. I picked it up, and I wanted to see this thing through. So I moved to the Blog Talk. Now, before, when the show started, it wasn't a podcast. The show was an internet radio show. And the guy who created the platform in the Bronx had a very unique vision. It's radio vision. So it was a radio show on internet here. It wasn't big yet. Streaming wasn't big. It was just starting. It was an infancy stage, in very early infancy stage, real early. Podcasting was just starting out early in 2010, especially radio vision. Hence the name NYPA Entertainment Radio, named after a production company that I once had with the former co-host and co-creator. And it was a radio show. And as time went on and things started changing, and time changed, it became a podcast. And it was countless times where I was going to, pull the plug on the show. And then, again, I didn't think it was going to last this long, 15 years. I was going to change my mind countless times to not end the show. Countless times. Even up until 5 minutes before I did this, I was going to literally like, you know what? I changed my mind. But it's something I have to do. And I feel as though I have to close the book on this show. And not because someone asked me, it was because myself and the former co-host didn't see this through together. I said, no, that had nothing to do with it. It was just something I felt it was time to move on to. It was just something that I felt as though needed to be done. I thank my former co-host and co-creator because we made something together. Started on camera together and met a lot of great people. Had a lot of great guests. Mike Bivens, Coogee Rap, Mama Jones, which is Jim Jones' mom, and countless others. I can go on and on and on. I thank him. I thank the Heavenly Father above for giving me the platforms to have this show and ideas and so forth and strength to continue this. I thank my man, Jazzman, Tovin Turner, Oxygen, for many years, for years of giving me intros. Hint, hint, another one's coming for Who is Kyle Graham. I think all the PR people, Hannah and Associates, Mary Moore, rest in peace, Double Exposure, and countless others who have presented this show with a lot of great guests. Thank you. And a lot of ups and downs, a lot of obstacles. But although it's a sad occasion as I shut this show down, the new one's coming. Who is Kyle Graham in the spring of 2026? It's going to be similar but different. How different? You have to wait and find out. But one of the best things I did was get back on camera. Like I said, this show origin started on camera, and then things happened with that studio in the Bronx. Moved to Blog Talk, then went to Sweep Studios here in Philadelphia on Vine Street. Something happened with that. Moved back to Blog Talk, was audio, and then I was like, I want to get back on camera. I wanted to shift this and get back where it's supposed to be. And here I am. I'm not a big camera person. I kind of like the audio better. Even when I was on camera, whether it was Sweep Studios or the studio in the Bronx, that's just not me. But I wanted to change things up. Now, technically, originally, the Riverside, me being back on camera, Riverside of that film was going to be for the new show. But Blog Talk ended up being shut down more sooner than later. I said, well, all right, well, I might as well jump on camera more sooner than later. Sometimes the Lord, he has plans and that supersedes our plans. You know what I mean? He see where we can't. But I definitely appreciate the support from day one. Those who came, who stuck with me. Those who left because the old boy left. Those who left because they thought the show changed. But more importantly, you showed up. And more importantly, you showed support. And more importantly, those who stick around to see the next journey that this platform of podcasting will take me with Who is Kyle Graham. Boy, do I have some crazy list of things that it's going to be new to me. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Peek behind the curtain. Got some logos. Trying to figure it out. I'm excited. Got to pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Get some help from Mike Shreves, my best friend. And this is it. I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to entertain you every week, whether for 1 hour, 2 hours, 55 minutes, whatever. I really do. It's been a blast being on this show. It's been a blast carrying this for 15 years. But it's time to close the book. And it's time to move on. It's been an honor serving you the best way possible. And I hope you learned something. I hope I got you mad. I hope you guys was happy, but you kept tuning in, finding out what I'm talking about, how I feel about certain things, what music I was playing at the time, and what my opinions on the biggest topic was, or who passed away, or whatever the case may be. What is going to come out of this man's mouth? I don't know half the time, and it's not scripted. I just read, talk, whatever. Stumble, fumble, stutter, technical difficulties here and there, all that type of shit. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm excited for the future. So again, thank you. Thank you for everyone who supported this show and support me on the next one. I will be dropping hints as we get closer to the premiere of Who is Kyle Graham in the spring. I'm changing everything on social media. The NYPA logos will be gradually coming down, and the new logo of Who is Kyle Graham will be going up. Extra platforms will be added. The spotlight will be brighter. The camera will be on. I'm going to have a lot more to say. I'm excited about that. And then, of course, I didn't forget, and I didn't stop, the book. Not a perfect man, but a good man. That's the book. Life be lifing. The book is done. Just some tediousness stuff. Like, you're just trying to get editing and publishing done, but the book is done. It's the easy part. I'm a writer. It's easy. The tediousness is making sure it's nice and edited before you hand it to publishing or self-publish yourself. So the novel is done. For those who think, oh, you said something about the book is there. It's Life be life, and I just Got to, tweak it, but it's coming out. I'm going to see that through the same way I saw this show through, and I'm going to see Who is Kyle Graham through. So, for the last time, on this show, on Riverside.fm, on NYP Entertainment Radio, believe whatever high power you believe in. Take it day by day. This is not a goodbye. This is a see you later. This is I'll see you soon, Lord willing, on Riverside.fm, on YouTube, Spotify, and others, whether video form or audio form, for Who is Kyle Graham. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Thank you, everyone, for your support and everyone for your non-support. There is a album from my favorite hip-hop group of all time, A Tribe Called Quest, their final album they did together when Fife was still around. Fife passed away right after that. And the name of the album was Thank You for Your Service, We'll Take It From Here. And I like to say to you, thank you for your service. Now I'm going to take it from here. I'll see you in the spring for the new show, Who is Kyle Graham, right here on Riverside.fm. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. That's it. Signing off for the last time. NYPA Entertainment Radio. It's been a pleasure.